Well, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Let the Truth Be Told. My name is Sean Williams, and I'm back in the studio with my main man, Herbert Burnett, close friend of mine, an ally.
Yes,
we go a long way back.
Yes,
We've done these segments before. Ran into him earlier today, and I said, we both think alike. We know we need to get back into the studio. Had a little time on my hands between appointments today, and kind of put it on his heart to say, man, we need to get in the studio.
Yes, sir.
And made that phone call.
Yes, sir.
As always, UPTV has always been graceful to me over here at UPTV. My main man Jason and the staff over here at UPTV, and making that possible, making it available. So I thank the Lord for everybody over here at UPTV, City Council of Urbana, the Mayor of Urbana, and everybody that continues to inspire us to keep this program going. So thank you very much. Hub, introduce yourself to the viewing audience and Facebook Live.
I'm Herbert Burnett, a.k.a. Hub, and I know this is going to be a good show, a great show, because it wasn't planned. He saw my car, and you don't see my car at the shop too much, but he saw my car, stopped, and when he stops and we get to talking, we just roll. One thing led to another, and now we're here.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about the show. I'm going to follow your lead. We both got some notes of things we want to talk about. So much going on, not only in the community, but in the world.
Oh man, you cannot either get on some social media sites or even just turn your regular television on. And I don't care if you ain't got cable, it's still something going on.
Yes.
You don't even have to have cable to see that something's going on.
Yes.
The devil's in the details.
Yes, sir.
And so I always like you always remember that. Always the devil's in the details, and you have to dissect all the murk out to be able to see what the true realities are. And so, Hub, we had a lot going on with the young man, and I always like to entitle these segments with something. So the entitlement of this program is just going to be simply what the name of this program has always been about. Let the truth be told.
Let the truth be told.
Let the truth be told. And so that's what the Lord then just put on my spirit as I was riding over. Just let the truth be told. Let's just talk about it, hit the issues. Let the truth be told today. Talk about these few issues that we got going on throughout the community. See if we can be some assistance in helping you understand what's going on and how you may be able to play a role in help. And or play a role and not help. Whichever way the Lord tell you to do it and how you see it, that's what you do.
Yeah, I met with some people today, and I said, you know, if you ain't on what I'm on, just get out the way, because this is God's work and it's going to happen. But I'd rather you get out the way than throw stumbling blocks in my way.
Yeah.
Just get out. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
You know your house. You know you ain't on nothing. You know you're going to do exactly what them people tell you to do. Just get out the way. You ain't got to help. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But just move out the way.
Yeah,
don't try to stumble.
Yeah.
We can sell chicken and help kids at the same time. For those of you who don't believe that, I'm going to say that again. You can sell chicken and help kids at the same time. You ain't got to do one or the other.
Hey,
that's an inside joke to one of my haters.
Hey, I seen you slide that in. We know your house. I seen you slide that one. That slid in real smooth. We know your house. But Hub, just saying that, I thank the Lord for my main man, Kevin Cobb, one a close friend of mine. I thank the Lord for the passion that the man has, the amount of dedication that he has, and the time that he poured out to care about somebody else in the community other than just his own personal kids. And in talking about that, for those that you don't know, Kevin spent a lot of time when he found out about the issue about
Bailey
Bailey D, kid from over at Central School. You're ex-coach from over at Central.
I coached his son, his brother Wesley.
Okay, so
I know the family.
you know the family.
Yes.
You know the inner structures of the Central coaching staff.
Yes.
You know some of those things that's going on. And so give the viewing audience an update on what's going on with the young man Bailey D, senior over at Central, and what has transpired over this period.
It's kind of tough for me, and I don't mean that in a weak way, but it's tough because...
Do you need a disclaimer?
No. The views and opinions. Because I'm a proud assistant varsity coach at Urbana, so I'm already a coach. So really that's the enemy. But anybody who know me know that's not the enemy, because I love kids and I love anybody who's helping kids. But not only that, but I coached over there for several years and was fired from Central. So it's a really, but the beauty of it is Bailey was cut from the basketball team, and the last 2 years, he's been one of the top players, not only in the city of Champaign, but in the area, all area. I think he made second team all area. In my opinion, he should have been first string all area, but I think he made second string. I don't know if he made the News Gazette. I don't think he made none of that, but he was one of the top seniors, if not the top senior in the Big 12.
Okay.
And so he got cut, and I don't think it was racist. I really don't. I think it was personal issues between him and the coach. And I think because at one time, a couple of years ago, they were really close. Everywhere they went, they took him with him. Him and the son, Tim, I think he were really close. So I think it's personal. Some people would say it's unfortunate, but it's a lot of reasons that had to happen. The first day I was really upset, but I prayed about it, and it had to happen. Now, the good thing about it is 3 days later, he played against one of the top teams in the nation in Indiana, La Lumiere, where Jay Simpson, who's another Central player that played for me that went to Purdue, well, he went to prep school at La Lumiere. It's one of the top prep schools in the state, in the country. But Bailey is at St. Louis Christian Academy.
Okay.
But they played La Lumiere. His first game, they played La Lumiere, so all the cameras on him. And in less than 72 hours, he has about 3 or 4 Division I offers already. So I call that God using the devil's oven to bake his bread.
Okay. So in saying that, and I want to bag you up, but we'll catch it right here. So he's had 3 to 4 Division I schools look at him through the transition since we did the rally over there.
Yes, sir.
On last Monday.
In 72 hours.
A few days later,
Kevin took him
to St. Louis.
Now I can't give a shout out to the man who made that happen.
But it's some inside. People connected with some people that was connected to some people. But other than the coaching, other than the athletic director,
yes, sir.
To assist this young man,
yes, sir.
further in his career,
the village,
and so he's able to get a better look now.
A way better look.
Okay. So what the devil kind of meant for bad could have been really destructive. Yeah. Now it really turned out to be a better look. Yes. Okay. So big shouts out to you, Kevin, all the people that supported that. And helping this young man transition. And I know, like I've spoke about it before. One of the reasons that I was at that rally hub is because in the funeral home business, I had to deal with the nuclear fallout of a young man that coach made a bad decision, administrators made a bad decision. Young man was getting bullied out of Central School. He talked to administrators or some type of other teachers about it. Nobody did anything that he felt was significant enough for the guy to stop. The guy kept the bullying up. He jumped on the guy. Okay, and the end result, he ended up getting kicked off the wrestling team. He got kicked out of school. He got some unwanted social media press that he didn't want because he was a laid-back guy, and it was so overwhelming for him that he committed suicide.
Oh my God, I remember that.
And so I just didn't want to see that happen. It was such a horrendous burden and sadness to that family that I was part of that whole thing, you know, trying to help heal that family. And I didn't want to see this young man and their family go down some of the same roads. I'm glad that he had Kevin and a lot of other adults around him and his family with a supporting cast when I got on the scene, because we got to be proactive.
That's right.
And so once we see a fire, you know, don't wait until the fire, you know, like the mansion in Danville where you got to burn it down, tear it down, and rip it all the way up where it looked like it never existed. Let's see if we can put some water on it before it get destroyed.
And shout out to Kevin and the rest of the community. The same thing happened to me my sophomore year, and I went from one person to a whole different person. And so I really, my passion was for the kid to be okay, the kid's okay, and I understand Kevin's gonna keep on fighting. But to me, as a 20-year military guy, we got enough firepower inside Unifor, and I'm not gonna name names, they ought to be able to fix that. We got community leaders, we got pastors that work for Unifor. We shouldn't have to do all them marching. Somebody need to stand up and have a meeting with y'all. Y'all need to have a meeting with y'all meeting.
In-house.
Your in-house meeting. That's internal. We got some powerful, let me tell you something. Some of the most powerful leaders in this town work for Unifor.
Yeah.
So if they can't figure it out, either they need to quit being leaders, or they need to say, you know what, I'm gone.
Well, it's kind of tough, when you're working.
Yeah.
We're working for them.
Yeah. But it's got to be respect. It's got to be respect.
And so it should be a way that we can really sit down, hash this out, let them know. Because sometimes some people do make mistakes and don't even realize that they're making a mistake because that's just the nature of how they operate.
Right. Sean, let me tell you about me. And one of the things that I have to realize is everybody ain't like me. Everybody didn't do 20 years in the military. Everybody don't care about leadership. But let me tell you something. Ain't no way I'm going to be on your staff and you don't value what I got to say.
Right.
It's no way. It's not worth my soul. It's not worth my soul. My soul is at stake. These kids are depending on me to be a voice for them. And you're not going to value what I say?
That's
me. That's me. The view. Can you get at
the views and opinions expressed here? Those speakers don't necessarily represent those.
But it's no way I'm gonna be on your staff. Listen here. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna shut up for a minute. When I was in Iraq, I had a colonel that we never saw eye to eye, but they promoted him to general to go over there. And the first thing he said is, I won't burn that on my staff, because if I'm screwing up, he's not going to be afraid to tell me.
Right.
And we didn't even get along because I always questioned him. And he reminded me, you a sergeant, I'm a colonel. That was going to shut me up. That ain't going to shut me up, man.
Right.
Because I got a God to answer to.
And you got a certain responsibility to the people that's influenced by you.
Yes.
Yes. And so when you're dedicated to that,
yes.
One of the things about it, man, is when you come from the heart.
Yes.
When you're coming from the heart, you just ain't just fickle. You just ain't moving because folks want you to move.
Yes.
You don't move like that.
How do they sleep at night? That's what I want to know. How do they sleep at night?
See, but I'm going to tell you how it is, because too many of us fake it. Faking the fun. Because we'll run through you, shake up with you. What up, my brother? Man, everything all good. Try to halfway love on you.
Yeah.
But really got the stab in the back. I don't like you.
I call that fellowship. Two fellas in a ship. That's what I call that. That ain't no true fellowship.
And
two fellas in
I've seen that happen. I'm not. I'm like my nephew Jamar. You would say, I'm not a real athletic guy. I'm really not into sports. I really don't care about it. And I've said this before on this program. After my affiliation with a lot of the basketball players here locally and the U of I guys and all that, I kind of bagged up off that scene. So I don't really know. I don't really go to a lot of the Atlanta games or the Central games. My passion is with hurt people, dealing with the young people and what's going on with them. And so when I see something going on, then I'll see what my role is to play and trying to help. But I definitely seen this being an issue. I see it's been an issue that's been going on for generations. We went through it when we were going to Urbana. I've had teachers say something out the way to me, that could have affected me for the rest of my life. If I didn't have a good supporting cast, if I hadn't not joined the military to build me back up.
Yes.
And so, and when we look through it through our eyes, we still look through things in a military lens. And so it's some things that's instilled in us that's not instilled with everybody else. So we have to slow down and have a little bit more patience with other people because we know rapid deployment. It don't take us long to get rapid deployment. Like you said, you got to go home and pack. Well, it ain't finna take you 3 days. Like sometimes some people take 3 days. It don't take me 3, 4, or 5 days to get ready.
No.
One of my closest allies is one of my closest allies. I ain't gonna say his name. I won't say his name. But he always said, if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready.
Right. One of the things, and sometimes we take for granted that we do have the military piece. They were making fun of me the other night because we were scrimmaging. We were having our Tiger scrimmage, and Coach Jones allowed the 2 assistant advisors to coach the teams. And I'm calling timeouts and everything, and they said, oh, Hub, it's just a scrimmage. You're doing too much. But the military is embedded me. You have to train the way you fight.
Yeah.
However you're going to fight that war, that's the way you got to train. So we spend millions of dollars going to NTC in California or JRTC, and we have those places, mock buildings like they are in Afghanistan or Iraq, to put us in the environment. And so everything we do, we serious about it. And you got to train as you fight. But people just think it's a walk in the park, que sera, sera. But I want to make this point, Sean. I really believe that we have enough competent leaders in Unit 4 that work for Unit 4 that they shouldn't even need the community to get involved. I believe that.
Right.
I know some of the leaders, and I know they are men and women of integrity, and they are respected.
Yes.
And so my concern was getting Bailey in school because I went from passing out passing assists on the court to passing out sacks in Dunbar court. I didn't have the village to pick me up once. When Urbana cut me because of one coach, didn't see eye to eye with me, and I didn't see eye to eye with him, and instead of him figuring out what was wrong with me, he just told me, you will never play. Now, I have been the starting point guard since 5 years old at King School shooting stars. I was Magic. I know Dave Williams called himself Magic, but he started being Magic when I went to the Army. I was the real Magic. And so it almost destroyed me.
Yeah. And
my mom was on the school board for 12 years. But that didn't matter, man. If I couldn't play basketball, I didn't want to live.
Right.
And so that, like you said, real quick.
And a lot of the kids from the North End, because we were North End kids.
That's right.
I mean, they used us as prongs for football, and we would be the ones that would stand in the way and make the play for the other guys, and we didn't get no tick when it came down to it. But these were the same kids that was over at Douglas Center. You know, we're over at King School. We were great on the court, but then we just got looked over. We got played. And so when I look at it now with some of these administrators that's inside the school that know what's going on with this young man, or even the coaches that knew this young man, because even from back in the day, if you were a freshman and you were playing varsity, that means you had some talent. If you were a sophomore, you played varsity, that means you had some talent. You was going somewhere. You was going somewhere. You know, and so it's definitely being a junior, you know, practice. You like Iverson, practice. What you mean? I've been playing since a freshman. My mama been coming to these games since a freshman.
But here's another piece. The kid is good, and just because you're good in education, I related with the kid. I was taking algebra 3 and 4, physics, calculus, all that. I wasn't no dummy. But still, if I couldn't play basketball, I didn't want to go to school.
Right.
That was my safe haven. That's how I dealt with my mom and dad divorcing. And so they want to attack his education. He's ready for college. I mean, his grades are on point. People, he must be having bad grades. No, he don't have bad grades. Am I saying he's perfect? No, I'm sure he put 2 or 3, 4 words together when he was talking to Finky, but what kid don't? You know what I'm saying? But he's a kid. You're the adult. You know, and I don't want to get off into that because I'm cool. The kids in school, I'm straight. It's shame on the community, shame on the leaders that's in Unit 4 if they don't have that looked at. Because it's happening on their watch.
And a community that continues to let this happen with other young kids. Because it's just one highlight of a kid. But it's so many other kids because of the importance. And as we wrap up on this topic, you know, it's so important because when you're in an impoverished, depressed community, in an environment that's uncertain, you try to figure it out as a young person. You know, and it's hard for a young person because you only can do as the people above you how good they doing, what they know, what they pouring into you. So if they don't know too much and they don't know really how to get out that trap that you talk about, then how do I figure it out? And so the only role models that they see are the guys they watching these sporting events. You know, hey, look, I can use a segue through basketball. So you'll see a young guy sitting at the basketball court, maybe sometimes by himself. Because he know that's the segue out the ghetto. Okay, and so then when somebody snatched the rug from under and take that segue out, then we got to replace that with something else. And so many guys replace that with streets and things of that nature. My brother had a story with his daughter playing for Urbana, and when they brought in some other girls, other race, brought them in, changed the dynamics. When they were playing as like 8th graders, they went to state.
With my daughter.
When the dynamics changed, and they changed the whole program around, they didn't win any games.
They won state 6th grade and 8th grade. My daughter was on the team.
And so that team's supposed to move up the ladder to be seniors going to state.
Yeah.
But instead, somebody else had the devil in the details.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, well, what happened to some of the girls? And I said, as the team fell off, some of them fell off too.
A lot of them fell off.
And they did. And they ended up they were teenage pregnancies, things of that nature. So it's so important that we make the right decisions with young folks. And so
Latoya Bond played in WNBA. I don't know if she's still, but she made it. She made the WNBA.
And that's so great. You know, Hub, it's so many different other things that's going on throughout the community. We've constantly, I deal with a lot of other communities. I deal with shootings that's happened when I've been in Decatur. I was just telling my people, I was just in Decatur on yesterday on a certain half of a street, and there was a shooting on the other half of the street I didn't know nothing about. You know, we had shootings right here locally in the community that's been going on. You know, so it's so much violence that's going on. You know, you've had so many people come out with all this sexual harassment and things that's going on in those type of areas, you know, where people have been, the wool's been pulled off.
Well, we talked about that a little earlier. And I just came back from Dallas visiting 3 grandkids who I never had met. One of them 2 weeks old, one of them 2 months old, and one of them was like 3 or 4. But Sean, I talked to you about the cover is, we're running out of time. And God is not pleased with leadership, whether it's in the White House or in the church house. And we're getting to the point to where he's exposing people. His grace is running out. And he's exposing people at an all-time alarm. And even in my spirit, I feel I feel like it's warranted. Because people are depending on you, and you tell me this all the time. People are depending on you to represent them, and you in the back room making deals against them. And whether they voted you in or chose you in or they go to your church, you got to do what you're supposed to do in that position. And these people are trusting you, and God is getting so upset in my spirit, the death angel is gonna run rampant. You know,
Brother Hub, I talked to you earlier about how important I felt as though the Urban League was to this community. Losing the Urban League was like a suicide to the community. You know, we kind of self-inflicted wounds. We're in there, you know, because some of the stuff was self-inflicted, and but they offered so many different resources. I mean, so much daily assistance. I mean, they created vision for the community. You know, things that we hadn't seen. You know, so they would bring other people in from other communities. If we couldn't make it to their community, then they would come share with our community. Different structural programs that they had. I even remember when Dr. Peenham had a program that people would donate cars to him, and they would give cars to single moms, you know, and get them back on the right track. You know, something small like that can be so major in somebody's life.
Yes, sir.
We're going into a Thanksgiving season, you know, so being able to bless somebody else, you know, and that's what Thanksgiving is all. You know, we're looking for Thanksgiving to be something where we get, you know, thankful and praise, I guess, you know, and loved on and, you know, take a look credit, but the best thing about Thanksgiving in this holiday season is being able to drop something to somebody else. You know, being able to give them some, pick them up, some pull them up, make them put their chest out a little bit and feel a little bit better about their situation, you know, so they can press on. And
someone called me yesterday and said, hey, we got a basket of turkey, you want it? I said, no, Lordy, what I'm gonna do with that? I'm the one supposed to be giving out baskets the way he blessing me. You talking about giving me a blessing? Thanks, but no thanks. Give it to somebody. Give it to anybody but me. I don't want it.
Our church got a basket given away with turkeys, and I think he said pork loins, over 500 pounds.
That's
pork
awesome.
Loins. That Jericho Missionary Baptist Church and Pastor KBC Johnson will be giving out this afternoon from 5 to 7 before our Thanksgiving program tonight. You know, but one of the things about it, you know, I always say, don't be in line before the people that really, really need it. You gonna get in line. Somebody else that need it, they done had to catch a bus, maybe walk a little piece to get to it, catch a bus on the way back, then walk another little piece to get back home with the bags of turkey. Here you done pulled up in your brand new car, and then beat them.
Well, reversing back to the Urban League, I wasn't here at that time, but I'm sure it was greed. I'm sure people put this person in line instead of this person. And then greed, once you get greedy, you consume. And you got to have people who know how to count money and know it's not theirs. See, when you got people that count money and they ain't never had no money, then they think that money is their money. And so you got to, if you look at Jimmy John's board of directors, or Sean, what's his name, Sean from Flexingate, Sean, the millionaire that owned the football. Khan, you look at them, I don't know, but you look at their board of directors and see what, I'm sure they got diversity, and I'm sure they got people that know how to count money, man. You can't have nobody who ain't used to count no money on your staff and you count money, because they'll be thinking that's their money, and they won't know how to manage it.
I think one of the things that helped destroy it, we had a program, and Pastor Vince Seon, he would be right there to tell you, him and my brother Craig and a few more guys, we were over there one day, and one of the things that we was working on a program, man, because we seen a lot of things going in the community, was working on something, and it was a dialogue back and forth, hindering the program, almost like BLT, almost like our BLT, but we couldn't get it off because we fighting about what the name gonna be. You know, what's the name?
But let me tell you, Sean, and go ahead.
The devil threw something small in there like that, for us to bicker about, instead of what's the main purpose.
But we had the wrong people on staff.
And that's what you just finished talking about.
Yeah, we were just picking people because they was around us and they was cool, right? But they wasn't ready for nothing like that. We gave people who didn't know. They had no business being able to decide the name. Yeah. Me and you should have got together, just us, and say, okay, let's come up with a name. But we gave them power they wasn't even ready for, and they got drunk off the power.
And they should have been parking lot pimping. Shouldn't even been, we should have had them.
But when we bring it back, we know better, and because we know better, we'll do better. But we went from 7 people to over 100 in 3 weeks.
Because the need was so great.
The need was so great. And
the relationship was so good.
Grown men in there crying. Lawyers in there crying. Ex-NFL, NBA players in there crying. College graduates crying.
Yeah.
One man talking about my son need help, I need help. The need, if anything, it's done got greater.
It's greater.
But we got to be pure in our motives.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was some people who you respected they didn't have your best interests at heart.
Yeah.
But they had a relationship with you and they didn't have a relationship with me, so they were convincing you. Plus they didn't have no role to play in.
Yeah.
That was key. Wait a minute, how they gonna do something positive without us? Everything happened gonna come through the boys club. That's the statement they made later on.
Yeah.
Who in the do you think you are? Move around.
And that was because it was some alternative motive.
Yes, sir.
They seen a filling in the gap with the more grants.
And
things of that nature.
The first thing they opened, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna shut up, you don't got to fire it up. The first thing they came to you with is grant money.
Yeah.
And that's why that's the last thing I'm gonna do is start writing grants.
I've never been on those type of things.
Right.
I've
but
learned,
these are your friends now.
and I understand, because that's just the arena that they deal with. That's their arena.
Yes.
That's not my arena.
Yes.
That's not my arena. My arena is God bless a child that has his own. Control your own. And whether it's small.
What about when J-Rock came in there and said that campus boy?
No.
Your boy done ran out of there. I ain't gonna say their name.
Because not everybody want to be a part of that.
It was pure.
Yeah, nobody want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
They wanted to shine. Genuinely wanted to help them out of the trap.
Yeah.
And however I can do it, whether if it was through pizza, whether if it was through sandwiches, whether it was just through just a conversation with us, just having, just bottled water.
Yes.
It did not make a difference.
Yes.
Because they respected Sean and what Sean was attempted to help them do. And so that's just where I'm at.
Yeah.
I don't need all that.
Yes, but we bring the cameras in and the people bring
it. And so what hurt a lot of us, and I think what hurt the Urban League and what eventually hurt the Urban League was that it broke down into cliques. Okay. It was a club in Chicago called the Clique.
The Clique in Indianapolis.
No, it was in Chicago.
Okay, yeah, the Clique. Okay.
And so it was called the Clique. The Clique no longer exists. And it was because of the infrastructure of it, the way it was ran.
Yes.
And it ended up hurting a lot of people because of just the way it was ran. Okay. And so I won't say nothing about You know, Tracy, he my man. You know, I ain't gonna say nothing about Dr. P, they my man. But sometimes, like you said, we brought in some other people, man, that just didn't clearly have the same passion.
Yeah.
Didn't really have the same
They were
vision.
clueless. But we liked them, and they were our friends.
But let's go back to just the importance of the resources that was available that we now don't have.
Right.
You know, we don't have those. I mean, they was bringing in educated folk to help uneducated folk. They was bringing in folk that was from other places to be able to say, hey, look, we know what you're going through, and this is the program that we can implement to help this community be a better place.
Now, I wasn't here then, but I will tell you this. 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, this Saturday make 2 weeks, I took 25 young men from Rentu Junior High J.W. Ader to a genome project, and it was dealing with DNA and science, technology. And when we walked in there, it was heavy Asian population in there. And so the kids, like, whoa. But they rolled their sleeves up and got involved. Shout out to Joe Cross. And got involved. And man, the staff of University of Illinois, all those professors, about 15 professors there, they were so impressed with these kids. So when they interviewed me, I looked them straight in the eye and I told them it's an indictment against you, an indictment against me, if we don't send these kids that are right in the backyard of one of the greatest universities in the world. And we got kids that live a mile away, and we don't expose them. We only expose the quote-unquote good kids, the superintendent's kids, or the principal's kids, or the CEO of Kraft, whatever the case. What about these kids whose parents are just hardworking? They got a dream and a vision for their kids too. So shame on you and shame on me if we don't connect and expose these kids to what's in their backyard. And you've been saying that since I got back in 2008. And so it was such a success that a professor called me, and you know what he kept talking about? The behavior, how well-mannered they were. Not that they wasn't smart, but in his mind, he couldn't fathom these black, white, and brown kids from Rantoul displaying this type of behavior and being so engaged.
Yeah.
All they want is a chance.
Yeah.
That's all they want.
Yeah.
In Vegas, they say, if I got a chip, I got a chance.
Yeah.
If you ain't got no chips, you ain't got no chance. So we got to get these kids chips.
Yeah.
So they can have a chance.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
Yeah. You know, and so that means that it's some things that we gotta be able to do as far as putting racism behind us.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Yes, sir.
And looking at every kid, giving every kid an opportunity.
Yes, sir. Look at Bailey. I mean, just look. Forget what happened, but just look.
Looking past economics and saying, hey, whether your mom is a CEO or your dad's a CEO or your dad's, you know, on crack. We're going to give everybody that opportunity to be a participant. Now, if you don't come on and you don't bring your kid and you don't show up to the program, that's one thing. But at least offer the programs. And I think that's what I keep on saying that the Urban League offered. You know, if you didn't catch the ride to go down there to the program, that's on you. But at least it was a space that had the opportunity there, and everybody knew it. Oh, you go by somebody's house, you can always hear somebody older say, oh, I got to go down to the Urban League. I got to go down to the Urban League because they knew that it was something in the community where they can go get some type of help or get led in the right direction for the help. Okay? And so, but when you don't have that, so you have a community that loses hope. And that light just get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer to almost as dark now. Okay, so you know you got people, you got different individuals throughout the community now that has had to facilitate for the absence of the Urban League. I.e. me, some Martell, some other brothers and sisters that they know that's through the community, that's doing some community work. They might have a personal relationship that might be able to turn them on.
I haven't seen Martell lately.
So yeah, and so he's been active a little bit, and so and behind the scenes. So now you got to pick up the phone, you got to call different people when you could just ride by. And so that's what I'm really trying to address, is that we should fight to get some type of physical building back with some type of organization that's connected and could reconnect back to the community in which it's supposed to be serving. And definitely, so you got a segment, you got a series that you want to do here in the upcoming future. We talked about it over lunch with your financial wellness, financial literacy.
Self-inflicted wounds.
Self-inflicted wounds.
In the military, we call it fratricide.
Yeah.
A lot of the problems we have in the community is self-inflicted.
Oh yeah.
We do the worst dirt to ourselves.
You know, I was privileged to do a service about a week ago over at with Pastor B.J. Tatum. He's such a scholar, and
can I get a witness?
He's such a scholar, really articulate in his speaking, and he had me so mesmerized back there at the back door, you know, at this funeral I was doing, and he compared he compared and mirrored winter with death.
4 seasons of life.
He mirrored it.
Yeah.
He mirrored it.
Yeah.
But he also talked about the healing.
Yeah.
Coming with spring.
Yeah.
And so he also referred back to, you know, as he referred back to childhood. And as a child, you know, you had a carefree life, and you kind of ran and you just kind of did everything. You didn't worry about this, you didn't worry about the bills, you know, you just had a carefree life. When you got into youthfulness, then you start getting a little bit more responsible, but you still couldn't wait till you got to be 16. You know, you get to court your first date on 16. You get your driver's license at 16.
Yes, sir.
You know, and then he mirrored to talk about adult. Being adult. And he said what adulthood meant is that now you've become responsible and came to grips with what happened in the past.
Yes, sir.
Whether if it was inherited to you or you created it on your own, now you learn how to deal with it. You're able to focus in on what's happening right now, and you're able to deal with it, live with it, and make the necessary adjustments for the future. And so that lets you know that you become an adult. But too many of us, we're still mad about the past.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Stuff that was maybe it didn't happen it went on your watch.
Yeah.
I believe that some things are called, you know, you can leave a curse for somebody else. Because you didn't do the right thing, you might mess it up for your kids.
Generational curses.
And you start those generational curses.
Yes, sir.
You start the other people out with they get a bad hand they dealt. It's dealt with a bad hand. And so you gotta stay on in there a little bit tougher, a little bit longer. You know, work with a few more things, stay up a little bit more late when you dealt with a bad hand. You know, so not all of us are dealt with, and I think that's what we talk about, and it refers back to the Bailey and any of these things that's going on. Man, you're not always gonna be dealt with a good hand. So you gotta learn how to, you know, as an adult, deal with it. You know, whether if it was self-inflicted, as we say.
That's right.
It might be self-inflicted.
Right.
You might have made some mistakes. You didn't get that opportunity. That coach might have said something. That teacher might have said something that sent you on some type of stupor.
But self-inflicted can be your mama smoking crack while she's pregnant with you.
Well, I think that was inherited.
Yeah, I mean, but when I say self, as a family, we bring these inflictions on us. Self-infliction as a community is, as a community, we hating on Sean. Instead of promoting Sean, we hating on him. So Muhammad is looking at us like, what's their problem? It's self-inflicted. Oh. Not literally you, but the community. You see what I'm saying? Self-inflicted is Champaign-Urbana, not mixing community with U of I because a street called Wright Street or University. We don't want to go over there. We don't want them over here. As a community, that's self-inflicted.
Right.
You're causing pain to your own community.
Right, right. I mean, because we are in this community and we got to live and survive throughout this community. And I know you're like me. You know, I love this community to death. You know, I came back here to make a difference. You came back here to make a difference. You sold me on coming back here. I was helping kids in El Paso, Texas. I was helping kids in El Paso, Texas. And when I came home, I came to the barbershop and said, Hub, you can help kids anywhere.
You ain't got to just be in love with them kids. You got kids right here, and you know what? You had a valid point.
Right. And so, and I really appreciate the things that you've done since you've been in town, your business that you have created since you've been in town, and using all of your different bases and all your segues to make it involve around youth. Whether if it's hiring youth, you always have a young person, whether it's Champaign or Banadell, whatever it is, hire some youth, employ some youth locally here in this community, which is very, very, very important. I see it being very important.
Let me share with you how I deal with the haters in Champaign-Urbana. 3 years ago, I was ready to move to Texas, and I got to the cross in Effingham, and God told me, I got work for you to do here. And if you leave Champaign-Urbana, I'm going to take my hands off of you because I got work for you to do here. And so I asked God for one thing. I said, Lord, do me one favor. Don't let me rot dealing with these small-minded people. Because there's some people here who got some small minds. They still think I'm Hub with a jerry curl at 16 with a sack in my pocket. You see what I'm saying? And so, but that's on them.
Some people won't
That's on them. And so I just remember, I remember what God promised me. And he has people in Rantoul and Champaign and Urbana. Coach Verdell Jones took me on his staff, made me his right-hand man. I'm assistant varsity coach. Michelle Ramage is in the superintendent of Rantoul, and she knows what I bring to the table. So he puts certain people in your path to recognize what you bring. So you can't be mad because this person, that person don't recognize. That's state laws. Hub, how you helping Rantoul more than you helping Champaign? Because Rantoul recognize what I bring to the table, and I don't have to be their buddy. I don't have to drink Hennessy or Patron or hang out with them on Friday night. I'm with my family on Friday night. I ain't got time to kick it. You want to kick it, that's you. But that's how I deal with it. I open my store when I get ready because I got people who going to shop with me. I will never close. Suits by Soldier will never close because I got people who love me. Now, could I do great? And if the people who should shop with me, if they shop with me, I could probably have 5 stores all in Danville and everywhere and create jobs for people. But I can't get mad at them where they spend their money. But they not gonna stop me. I know how to get it. I get it 7 different ways if I have to, because God is Jehovah Jireh. And that means my great provider. And as long as I depend on him, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I will let nothing shine. When you come to me and you be a little discouraged in the funeral home business, I always remind you, God didn't bring you this far to leave you. I could put 3 of my houses in your houses, and we can still have a breakdance party. He didn't bring you, and so you. I'm gonna say this, and I'm through. I have learned to put the magnifying glass on God instead of the situation or the people that's hating on me.
Yeah.
That's giving them too much. Too much. They don't deserve it.
Hub, when you talked about it, I talked to a young man and I'd been knowing him for years, and I said, man, have you been out of, have you been to, Detroit? He said, Sean, I ain't been to Chicago. So all he know is what's going on right here locally. I said, man, you got to get out of here and see something different, man, so you can create vision for yourself.
Yes.
Because as you grow and you have children, they won't know better because you don't know better.
No matter how high you jump, you can't get no higher than your head.
They won't know no better because you don't know no better.
Yes, sir.
We got to expand the mind.
Yes. The Army helped us.
You got to be able to expand the minds where you're able to open your heart. See, when your mind ain't expanded, when I see you growing, I think you taking something from me.
How did you feel when you landed in Germany?
I was scared. First, I was scared because I was used to Champagne. But once I started to adapt to the culture, and I started to see some people love on me and embrace me with their culture, and I wasn't rebellious against learning new culture. And so I learned new culture. I learned
schnitzels was good.
I learned exactly how to deal with it. And as I got to Fort Bragg, I learned about people in North Carolina. I expanded myself. I went off post. I met people in their community.
Yes, sir.
I went to churches out there. I dealt with folks in their community.
Yes, sir.
So I was able to love on folks when I got to LA and I was in South Central. I walked around. I talked talked to people.
Yes, sir.
And they looked out for me.
Yes, sir.
I talked to gangbangers.
Yes, sir.
I talked to people from all walks of life.
Right.
I talked to guys that was about to start their own churches, all those things.
Right.
I talked to Haitians.
So the kids we deal with now are seeing L.A. and Germany and North Carolina through your eyes.
Through the vision of somebody else. Because and then I'm ready to open it up to them. Hey man, look, man, we can get you there. We can get you there. You can make it. So it gives them a little bit more glimmer of hope. So if a coach decides to say, man, you're not good enough, that's okay.
Here's I was substituting about 3 years ago at Urbana High School. Of course, I was coaching there, so the kids, basketball kids, knew me, and it was 2 Asians in there. I said, "Are you Korean?" She said, "Yeah." So I said, "Yobaseo, Yobaseo, Yobaseo, Iliwa, Tony Upso, Karachogi, Tatsa Nissan, Hapshida," and the basketball players freaked more than her. She was like, "How do you know that?" They was like, "Hub, what is it?" And then so they asked her, do he know what? She said, "Yeah, very good, very good." Yeah. And so even though I was speaking to her, I was showing them. Don't get it twisted. I speak 5 different languages, and I'm still Hub. I don't have to say "pass the Grey Poupon." If that's how you say it, that's you. But that ain't. Let me get some of that Grey Poupon for him.
And so many times, man, people. I love my mom because of the fact that she instilled in us mother's wit.
Yes.
The greatest degree that you can get.
Yes.
That's the greatest
mother's
degree.
wit.
Mother's wit is the greatest degree you can get. You know, I learned a new one from Pastor Johnson the other day. Some people got more degrees than a thermometer. But they ain't got the common sense. You know what I'm saying? And so I thank the Lord for my mama with mother's wit. You know, mother's wit allow you to get into some of those spaces because you got mother's wit and you got some wisdom that you don't need a degree to move around. You know, game recognized game. So when I was down in Atlanta, you know, dealing with people in Atlanta, man, I connected with folks in Atlanta.
Yes.
Because I never go to anybody's city and try to take over.
That's right. When in Rome,
man, you do what the Romans do. So exactly, and that's how you move around.
Yes, sir.
And that's how you tote yourself and folks.
Yes, sir.
And people love on you for that because you're not trying to take their shine.
Right.
And I always tell people, you know, and I said on this program before, because you try to blow my candle out, it's not gonna mean your candle gonna be brighter.
That's right. It's
not gonna mean your candle gonna be brighter.
It's enough for both candles to bright.
Man, we ought to be trying to. It's like the marriage. We lighten it for each other. That's right.
We
lighten it for each other.
Yes, sir. Yes,
you know,
sir.
whether if we want to be or not, we're in the same community, we're in the same boat, we're in the same country. We lighten it for each other.
Yes, sir.
And if we do it on the world level, we in the same, we on earth together.
Yes.
We lighten it for each other.
Yes.
We want to see everybody
shine.
Everybody should have a Thanksgiving meal.
And you know what? It gets contagious. One thing I learned, Sean, if you build it, they'll come. And I built from scratch this little youth program, LDA, at Rantoul. And initially, it was for the 20% of the kids who was causing 80% of the disciplinary. So really, in numbers, it was like predominantly African-American boys with a couple of, maybe 1 or 2 Hispanics. And then Asian got in trouble, so we let him in. Then other guys just wanted to come, so we let them in. This year, we opened it to girls. So now we got 50 kids. So it's no longer a bad program. The other day, 40, 50 kids there. You know, I said, raise your hand if you got an ODR this year. And I think 4 or 5 hands went up. When 3 years ago, that's the reason they in there, because they was getting too many ODRs. And so you have to, you have to allow your mind to, what is the word? You have to allow your mind to transition into greater. Just because it started that way, don't mean it happened.
And it started to get creative.
Yes, you got.
It started to get
and it's building. Now they all on the university.
You know, and so you talk about a lot that there's no success without a successor.
Yeah, there's no success without a successor.
Okay, and so on this year, and we just eating lunch, and we just ran into Audrey Marquis. She told us about the Martin Luther King celebration. You know, we know about Mr. Willie T. Somerville, one of my great teachers, passing away here recently.
Right.
Since the last Martin Luther King celebration.
Yes.
And being able to groom. Being able to groom. You know, we never know when we're going to leave here. But being able to have somebody that's following in your footsteps. You know, that love the program like you love the program. And then, and don't mind when you say, not on my watch. They understand that.
Yes.
And it ain't gonna happen on their watch.
Yes.
So
personal.
You feel comfortable about leaving them in charge. You know, I know a couple pastors ain't gonna go nowhere because they ain't comfortable leaving somebody in charge. I know a couple of them that feel comfortable.
Can I do a commercial?
Leaving somebody in charge.
If your pastor is 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, or 80 years old.
The views and opinions.
Listen, I'm gonna say it one more time. If your pastor is 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, or 80, and don't have no Timothy by his side, you better run. Because there's no success without a successor. And you don't want to spend 3 to 5 years looking for no pastor because your pastor ain't never groomed. And I'm talking to the whole world. I ain't just talking to
somebody right
one city. I'm talking to the whole world. You have to train somebody to take your place, whether you gonna die, whether you gonna retire, or whether you gonna go pastor somewhere else. If your pastor care anything about you and the congregation there.
But you know what, Hub? That not only go for pastoring.
Anything in leadership. Yeah, but we were talking about pastor. That's why I said that's leadership.
And that go for anything.
Leadership, period.
Even when I was a private.
Come on now. Come on.
My E4 trained me.
Yes, sir. So you can go to the board.
Just in case,
yes,
you know, he wasn't there, and I could tell the rest of the privates what to do.
That's a great point.
When I made it to be spec 4, but I was a good private to my spec 4.
Yes, sir.
So then when I got to be a spec 4, I wanted the same respect for my private.
That's right.
So then when I got to be in charge of the whole platoon,
yes, sir.
Then they all respected me because some of them started remember when I was a good private.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so that's the way it got to work.
When we got ready to board, when they was picking for the soldiers who was going to go to Iraq, who was going to be with who, every platoon had between 40 and 42 soldiers. I had 49, but I had 95 out of 130 that wanted to be in my platoon because they know I take care of my soldiers.
Yeah.
They know I would check my boss about my soldiers. They know I didn't have no problem telling the boss, no, I'm protecting my soldiers. I'm not siding with you on this because it's not right. And without soldiers, we don't have nothing. So I got to take care of these soldiers if I don't take care of me. So that's a great point. Not just pastors, in leadership. If you leading, my dad, King James Underwood, Bishop King James Underwood, says it like this. If you're leading and ain't nobody following, you just taking a walk.
Yeah.
You got to have people surrounded around you and developing, and that's why I go all the way back to Unit 4. I'm a United States Army 20-year vet. They got leaders all inside that Unit 4, great leaders. And I know they ought to be able to get something done without the community. They ought to be able to sit down over the coffee and say, look, this can't happen. Because it's a direct reflection on me, because you ain't got to go in the community. I got to go back in the community. Can you imagine the coaching staff there, that's brothers, what kind of grief they taking, and they good friends of mine. Yeah. But they taking a lot of heat because of the decision that was made.
When they go down to these barbershops.
Yes, sir. They taking a lot of heat. And you know what? You know, when you lay down like dogs, you get up with fleas.
Yeah, so, in closing, I know we're about to close the program out. Thank the Lord for everybody that tuned in to us. I see you on there, my main man Felix, my DJ over there. But one of the things about it, Hub, is that I encourage us all to stand on top of these young people. Stand on top of these young people. I just went into a store the other day, to a gas station, and it frustrated me, Hub. And I'm gonna tell you why it frustrated me, because I'm into grooming, I'm into hair, I'm into all of those different things, the cosmetics, the apparel that you carry, stuff like that. And I know that first impressions is lasting impressions. And so when I seen this young man that it ain't that he ain't getting no haircut, he ain't even combed his hair. but it's becoming acceptable appearance. It's becoming acceptable look. And so now, since the store that had a sign in there talking about hiring, they didn't drop their standards. Because normally, you know, you got a certain standard.
Right.
But now we done had to lower our standards because I'm not gonna be here all night.
Right.
So even though he don't look the part, he gonna be a filler.
He gonna be a filler.
He gonna be he should know he only gonna be a filler until I can find somebody else.
Yeah, yeah.
He a filler.
Yeah, yeah.
He ain't gonna stay there long.
A bridge.
He just a bridge until they can find somebody else. So we got to tell our people the tough stuff.
Right.
So what I told him and they got me on camera saying, man, look, bro, you need to get a haircut, man. You need to look like you coming here to take care of some business. Because they only gonna use you.
Come on, preacher.
And we got to tell our folks the tough stuff. They gonna use you until they find somebody else that can fit the needs and responsibility and look like they want somebody in here to work and run their business. And so, I mean, all this here sagging of the pants and all that, and I know we keep talking about a fad, but man, this 10 years strong. This 15 years strong now. It ain't changing, it's getting worse. And we gotta be able to address that issue. And I know barbers and I know beauticians all over town. If you came to them passionate enough and you ain't got no money, they got the spirit of shine. They gonna donate some assistance to you. All you gotta do is come to them in the correct way. Because most of them came through my barbershop or was affiliated with me and they knew what I did. So they know that if you come to them, you go to any of these guys that on the barbershop and you tell them, you might have to wait a minute. But you can get on in and get your hair cut. And I know these ladies that's doing hair, they'll get your hair done. They'll do your hair for you so that you can look presentable on these jobs and on these places where you can look the part. You can't just say, I want to be somebody. You got to look like you want to be somebody.
Sean, I was listening to you. And I couldn't help. I really didn't plan on saying anything about this. But ever since you know me, I talk about leadership. Ever since you know me. And I'm in a position now where it's happened very few times, not only in my 20 years of military career, but even in life, especially after the Army. Because I'm retired, it gives me leverage. If I don't like it, I don't have to do it.
Right.
I'm 53 and I'm in school right now to get my master's and teacher certification, and I don't even want to teach. But if somebody don't wake up and do a charter school, then I'm gonna have to do it. But it's people that's way more capable than me that got way more resources and connections. But if they don't wake up and do it, then that's why I'm going to school now. But as far as leadership, I'm in a predicament where I'm on a Banner High School staff. And we have Verdell Jones, who son played for Indiana, and he has a son in Illinois. And we started an AAU program called Fort Sui, acronym for the sake of our youth, back when I was here recruiting. In 95 through 98, I was there. Then I left. And in 2000, around that time, he had the #1 AAU team in the country. Well, now he's coaching at Urbana. And we have a staff of 9 African-American males. And this is one of the few times in my life that I feel good about following my leader. We ain't none of us perfect. We checked our egos in at the door, and we still have some bouts because we all got egos and testosterone. But for them, it's a beautiful sight, and I think the whole community will be able to watch it this year in the form of basketball.
Good. With Hub, we got to wrap this program up, man. I thank the Lord for you pausing your day, man, to be on this radio program, this television radio program with us this evening. Thank the Lord for everybody that's out there that tune into us every Sunday night. I appreciate it. Ran into a lady the other night, said, Sean, I was watching you at 4 o'clock in the morning. Because it come on at 4 and 8. So I appreciate you out there. I appreciate those brothers that run up to me and say, man, keep on doing what you're doing. That encouragement helps me out a whole lot. When I get into my down place, that little bit of push that you give me, keep me going. So keep it up. Keep up the good work. Whatever we can do out there in the community, do it. We all can't do everything, but we all can do something. So keep up the great work. I appreciate it. Thank you for another episode, Let Truth Be Told. Peace.
Peace.